Hi guys, I just posted a blog of my review of the movie Gosnell. I know everybody is not really into reading everything, so I'm going to go ahead and read you pretty much word for word what my blog post is in the form of video in case there's somebody that doesn't, they want to listen to it in the car or something like that. So I'm pretty much going to read it word for word. The forward is that, okay, I am pro-life, and this movie is made by mostly pro-life people. That said, this movie is not about being pro-life. This movie is about a system protecting a serial killer because of his profession and not wanting to give anyone an excuse to question reproductive rights. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and mostly read it. I might step off a little bit for some commentary. Anyway, last night I went to go see the movie Gosnell, the trial of America's biggest serial killer, in a completely sold out theater. I have seen many movies in theaters, and usually there's a buzz of excited chatter after a movie. This movie theater was absolutely silent after the movie was over. The only thing that I could say to my husband in the theater was, "Let's go home so I can cuddle the baby." As you guys know, I have almost a 12-week-old baby, and it's a good thing I didn't bring her to the theater because I probably would have smothered her by crushing her. As it is, you can maybe see bit my fingernails down to nothing, coping with the movie. Mostly because I know they took the absolute worst things out to make it palatable to watch. What they did leave in was bad enough. Anyway, the movie started out as most movies do, showing the backstories of some of the main protagonists, but this was only after showing a character mentally struggling with an idea before finally taking a picture of something. You find out what that something is towards the end of the movie. The undercover police officers played by Dean Cain, the character was Woody, and Alfonso Rachel, whose name was Stark in the movie, made a successful drug bust. The FBI and DEA show up. The woman caught filling prescriptions identifies Dr. Gosnell as the doctor writing the illegal prescriptions. The police officer is allowed to tag along with the DEA and FBI when they investigate Dr. Gosnell's clinic based on suspicious testimonies made by clinic employees. When they arrive at the clinic, they are struck by the disarray, the smells, and the cats. Multiple cats just wandering around the clinic. There are biohazard bags everywhere, which they don't outright say, but these biohazard bags contain aborted fetuses. And there's a general smell of filth. Stark actually steps in a pile of cat droppings, and it is later found out that patients are sometimes forced to relieve themselves in the hallways because there aren't enough bathrooms in the clinic. Woody and Stark make their way around the clinic and are filming while they're doing this and come across a cabinet filled with specimen containers containing the feet of fetuses. The feet in the containers really struck me because, as Dr. Gosnell later explains, that he kept them as tissue samples for genetic identification later if necessary and for his own personal research. Okay, I am a medical professional. I understand the idea of maybe keeping tissue samples for researching later, but okay, in the abortion procedure, you are already getting blood and gray matter. Save that. That makes sense. Saving a whole foot does not make sense. And that is what was my first light bulb moment. This guy is a serial killer because he is keeping trophies. If you're keeping the same body part for each of your victims, that is a trophy. And it is creepy. Anyway, from there the search continues into Gosnell's house. His house is also an absolute disarray. Disgusting. It is flea infested and there is a dead cat, which is mostly already decayed, in his basement. He seems completely unfazed that the police are even there, as does his daughter. He cooks himself breakfast and sits down to play the piano while they're there. Okay, I have spent a lot of time, of my own personal time, researching antisocial behavior as I have come into contact people who are antisocial, narcissistic, sociopathic, possibly psychopathic. I have come into contact with these people, so I've spent a lot of my own personal time researching these things. not being even fazed by the fact that you're possibly in trouble for something is the hallmark sign of a psychopath. Not all psychopaths are serial killers, but all serial killers are psychopaths. And everybody knows how the movie ends up because it's a trial and he ends up being convicted. He does not show a single sign of even worry until the jury starts saying guilty. Then he's like, oh, oops, that's not good. That's his first reaction to any of it. Besides that, he's just laid back, calm, smiling, laughing, giggling like nothing is going on. It's really creepy. Anyway, I don't want to give a full movie synopsis because I want people to actually go out there and watch it because it is very important. It is a very, very important movie. And it is not strictly a pro-life movie. You can walk into that movie pro-choice and walk out of that movie pro-choice. What you can't do is walk out of that movie and think it's okay for a clinic to go 13 years. 13 years. While complaints are piling up, including some complaints of potential wrongful death. 13 years the Department of Health does not investigate this clinic. And as the DA McGuire says in the movie, even nail salons are inspected every year by the Department of Health. And if there's a complaint, they go in and they investigate immediately. That is how it works. In nursing school, I rode around with somebody who works for the Department of Health who was inspecting restaurants and schools and things of that nature. They get a complaint, they go. Why? For 13 years was this guy not investigated? All right. Furthermore, another problem that this movie brought into light is the problem with our modern media. Okay? Ironically, it is a pro-choice blogger that forces the mainstream media to cover the case by taking a picture of all the empty seats, and they showed a picture of the actual picture that she took of all these empty seats that were reserved for the press and no one's there. And she posts it on, I guess they put something in place of Twitter because of, copyright reasons. It looked like it may have been something like Twitter. Why is the media covering up for this? She put the question out there and all of a sudden, oh, the media shows up because we can't look like we're covering up for this. Anyway, at the end, she has a quote that I'm not sure I'm getting it absolutely right, but it's something like this. She says, I'm a journalist. I uncover the facts. I don't change what they are to fit my agenda. I heard her say that in the movie and I scoffed. I almost started busting out laughing. Because that is absolutely the definition of what journalism is. But that is not what journalism is now. At all. I have seen article after article published by all these media outlets, NBC, CNN, even Fox, where the headline or the title picture of the article has nothing to do with what is actually in the article. If you read the article, it renders the headline or the picture or both false. And because I believe in being honest and I call out my own side more than the other side, I'm going to call out Fox on this one. A friend of mine posted this article on Facebook and I clicked on it. If you actually read the article, it was about a workplace shooting. So why was the picture a picture of a school bus? Why? And I've seen articles by CNN, NBC, all these places where you read the headline and it says one thing. You read the article and everything in the headline is rendered absolutely false by the article. But only if you read the whole article do you know that that headline that they're trying to sell you is an absolute deliberate lie. That is what fake news is, people. It's okay, they get away with it because they actually publish the truth in the article. The problem is, in our short attention span, clickbait culture, People read the headline, they see the picture, they read the first 2 paragraphs, and they think they know what the article says. But it's only by reading through the whole article that you find out that they're actually trying to sell you a lie. And they finally tell the truth in the bottom so they don't have to redact the article. And sometimes they do end up having to redact things. They put the story on the front page and they put the redaction on page 12. Or they redact, if they do it online, they redact it like 2 days later when the media cycle is completely past that and everybody's forgotten about it. Just calling everybody out. I'm calling out my own side, okay? My own side does this too. All right. All right, to be an honest person, you have to be willing to be critical of your own side. That is why I think the movie is so important. I'm also a nurse. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, as the mother of modern nursing, Florence Nightingale, taught us. This is true for the right, the left, the Catholic Church and other religions, pro-lifers and pro-choicers. If you try to hide the faults of your own side, when they do come to light, as they always do, it calls your whole ideology into question. As a Christian, I will take this argument further to comment on my own tribe, as tribalism has become so widespread and dangerous in our culture. The second commandment, when accurately translated, says, "Do not misuse the name of the Lord your God." This is the commandment that actually absolutely condemns a person if they break it. That's because to misuse the name of the God includes doing evil in God's name. If you do evil in God's name, you are calling God into question. And you are saying that God is the one doing the evil, when actually it's you doing the evil. You're just putting God's name on it inappropriately. And the reason why God will not forgive this is because it turns people away from him. Okay, I said all of this to get back to why the movie is so important. Why couldn't they just treat Dr. Gosnell as the serial killer that he was and bring him to justice as soon as suspicions started to build? Because he was an abortion doctor. They couldn't call into question the merits of reproductive rights, so they let a serial killer just continue his work unencumbered. I'm calling everyone who is watching this to action. Go see the movie. It's extremely important. It's not just the abortion argument, although that is part of it. Mostly, to me, the importance of the movie is that each side, everybody, needs to be willing to call out their own side when they're messing up. Okay? Everybody needs to be willing to call out their own side. Because if you hold these bad actors in the dark, they come to light eventually. And if you are caught in the mix of covering up for them, it calls your whole side, your whole ideology into question. That said, I am on the right. Antifa, I hate you guys. I want nothing to do with you. You are awful, and you guys are not even on my side. People on the left, can you please call out Antifa? I'm waiting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review of the movie and my commentary on it. I hope everyone goes to see this movie. It is extremely important that people go see this movie because we need to prove to the people in Hollywood that half of the country is not the only half of the country that deserves to get entertainment that means something to them. We are still half the country. We are here. Entertain us. We will give you our money. Thank you.